Hey everybody, Ordinary Piper coming to you from the backyard. It's been one of those days and thought maybe we ought to have a pipe together. I am smoking this pipe that my brother-in-law brought me from France. It's a nice briar pipe. It's a factory made pipe, but it's really beautiful. It's nice and heavy, nice finish on the bowl, some good grain you can see here. And in it today, I feel like I need to give thanks. So I am smoking a little Thanksgiving blend. It's still cold outside. It's still close enough to the holidays that I feel like it's appropriate for the day that I've had to give thanks. Why do I say give thanks when I've had a day? Well, in the scripture it says to give thanks at all times and for everything, because every eventuality fulfills God's will. And even when things are good, you give thanks, but also even when things are not great, you give thanks. Ultimately, today was just another day. It was a day at the office where, let's just say, there was a lot of truth being shared. And when people share their heart and how they're feeling, you know, perception is reality. It doesn't really necessarily mean that somebody's right or wrong, but in everything there's a bit of truth usually. And so there's a lot to think about, a lot to process as a leader, as a human, as a man, and plenty to pray on. So a good pipe tonight. I've got a new lighter. I bought this because I got a gift certificate for Christmas. I wasn't sure that I loved the gold color, but I didn't have anything like this. Most everything I have is silver or some kind of titanium look. So I went ahead and got this. I thought it was nice. And I've been really happy with it so far. I've seen a couple of guys in the YTPC have these and use them. I think NW Piper had one. I think I may have seen Mutton Chop had one. I'm not sure. But I've been happy with it. Probably my only complaint has been that when you light it, it actually sends out flame pretty strongly at first. You can even hear it. Let's see if I can. Well, I don't know if you can hear it, but you can see when I light sometimes that it actually sprays ash up because it's so strong. So I got it turned down pretty far. You know, one of the things about the older I get, it's interesting how we sometimes find ourselves with fewer and fewer true friends. I have a ton of friends and a ton of acquaintances, but at the same time, the opportunity to actually just sit and smoke a pipe together or drink a beer together, you know, is few and far between. I really, really am blessed by it when it happens. So the idea that virtually we might share a pipe together, it's pretty good. I've been reading a book lately. Most of the time, I like to read entrepreneurship and business books, some theology books, obviously some scripture. But I've been reading something pretty different lately. Pappyland. And this is a story from Kentucky about family, fine bourbon, and things that last by Wright Thompson. It's a really good book. He's a good writer. And it's the story of Pappy Van Winkle, the family behind Pappy Van Winkle Bourbon, and when the company sold in the 70s and what that did to the family. And there's even a show, I just went and watched it. It's one of the episodes of Heist I think you'd call it Pappygate, when a bunch of Pappy Van Winkle bourbon was stolen because they were able to sell it. It was such in demand they could sell it for like $1,000 a bottle. Bottles that just a minute ago were sold for 50 bucks. Pretty amazing. Good book though, I'd recommend it. It's a light read, fast read. A little bit of a light sprinkle out here tonight. It's actually starting to rain a little bit. It's supposed to get really nasty this weekend. Get really cold, get icy, maybe snowy. You know, we always have an opportunity to learn more about ourselves, about others, about human nature, about organizational behavior. And, you know, I think when situations come up, when you have days like those kind of days, the day that I had today, I think you have a couple of choices. I think you can either shut your ears, shut your heart, kind of, you know, get your ire up and get mad at people, or people say things you disagree with, or, you know, at work or in other contexts. Or the alternative is, you know, to kind of set your face like flint towards where you're headed. So, in other words, to maintain your inner composure and your inner understanding of where you're supposed to go, what you're supposed to do as a leader, as a man. But at the same time, be vulnerable and be able to listen, be able to learn, be able to say, okay, is there something in what was said? Is there something in what was shared, or in this situation, or in that person's reaction that can teach me something? You know? And if so, what? Leadership is a lonely thing. That's been said numerous times. But it sure is true. I think that's why I value the YTPC community and the comments and all of the subs that are out there, because you guys are a real source of encouragement. In particular, I just was blessed by the comments that people left after I played that song for Fellowship of the Briar for his VR. I might like to do music again. I've got a friend named Kevin who watches these videos sometimes. He's always been such an encouragement to me artistically and musically. He's an incredible songwriter, an incredible artist, wonderful guy, deep heart, deep faith, real co-struggler. And he texted me after that video and was encouraging me to write more and to do more music. So, you know, maybe I'll share a song or two every now and again as I write. Did you see that? I don't know if you saw that. My hand was in the way. It did that thing where it blew up all of the ashes from the top. It's my only complaint with this. If I turn it down more, it doesn't do that, but it also doesn't put out a big enough flame to really get a good light. Which means what I got to get used to doing is lighting it to the side and then bringing it to the pipe, not holding it over and then lighting it. Simple thing, user error, but something to relearn. But, you know, giving thanks. Give thanks for the good, for the bad. God makes it rain on the just and the unjust. Giving thanks during adversity, I think, builds character, makes you a stronger leader, a better human. You know, St. Paul said, I'm the chief among sinners in Scripture. So, gosh, if St. Paul said that, what does that make me? So when people have their thoughts or disagreements about you, things you do, things you say, how you lead, the ways you act, ways you speak, whatever it may be in life, you know, again, question is, are we going to be open-hearted to that, to give thanks for it, to see it as an opportunity to grow, to be humbled, to be matured spiritually, you know, kind of like being cellared, you know, are we gonna kind of be in that pressure cooker for a minute and let that time and that steeping in that adversity create something better than we were? Or are we going to try to push it away? You know, I think real leadership takes great vulnerability. But with great vulnerability comes vulnerability. And that can't but help coming with all sorts of opportunities to give thanks. Well, I appreciate having a pipe with you guys tonight. Wish you were all here in person, having a bourbon, maybe a Pappy Van Winkle, and smoking some Thanksgiving Day. But I hope you all have a great holiday weekend. Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Get out and serve somebody beside your